Most people buying a used SUV under $10,000 are one breakdown away from a $3,000 repair bill they never saw coming. They pick something that looks clean, drives okay on the test drive, and assume that's enough. It's not, because there's a massive difference between a used SUV that survives and one that was literally engineered to keep running no matter what. Today we're talking about 3 SUVs built with that exact kind of toughness. Body-on-frame construction, proven powertrains, and mechanical DNA that traces back to military and government fleet use. All 3 can be found right now for under $10,000. Luxury is nice, but reliability is freedom. If you agree, drop a like on this video, and let's get into the list. Because that's exactly what this ranking is about. SUVs that actually make sense long-term. These aren't flashy picks. Nobody's going to mistake you for a millionaire in a 2001 4Runner. But when everyone else is stranded on the highway waiting for a tow truck, you'll still be moving. That's the trade. And for the right buyer, that trade is everything. SUV number 3, the Forgotten Tank. 2011 to 2015 Nissan Xterra. Most people shopping for a rugged, go-anywhere SUV end up paying the Toyota tax. They want a 4Runner. They see the price, and they either overpay or walk away disappointed. What they completely miss is the Xterra sitting right next to it on the lot, doing the exact same job for thousands less, with almost zero attention on it. The Xterra runs on Nissan's F-Alpha platform, the same boxed ladder frame underneath the Nissan Titan and Frontier. That's a truck frame, not a crossover unibody, pretending to be tough. An actual truck frame that was built to take punishment. The 4.0L V6 under the hood, engine code VQ40DE, is one of Nissan's best. Strong torque, simple design, and a reputation for going well past 200,000 miles when owners take basic care of it. Now here's the part that separates the smart buyers from the ones who get burned. You must stay within the 2011 to 2015 model years. This is not a preference, it's a hard rule. The earlier Xterras, 2005 through 2010, had a factory defect where the radiator would leak coolant directly into the transmission fluid. Mechanics called it the strawberry milkshake of death. It destroyed transmissions from the inside out, and it killed those earlier models' reputation. Nissan fixed the design completely by 2011. The 2011 and newer Xterra is a completely different story. CarComplaints.com shows the dramatic drop in complaints between the 2010 and 2011 model year. That's not a coincidence. That's an engineering correction that created one of the cleanest used truck-based SUVs on the market. Right now, a 2011 or 2012 Xterra with around 120,000 miles sits comfortably between $7,500 and $9,500. The Pro 4X trim with the full off-road package sometimes pushes past $10,000, so look for the S or X trims to stay under budget. You're getting heavy-duty suspension, a thick durable frame, and go-anywhere capability that Jeep Wrangler owners will respect. Without the Wrangler's notorious maintenance appetite, the Xterra ended production in 2015. Nissan never replaced it. That means no newer version is coming to pull attention away. The ones on the used market right now are the last of their kind, and values are holding steady because people who own them rarely want to give them up. That tells you something. SUV number 2. The government's first choice. 2000 to 2006 Chevrolet Tahoe and GMC Yukon. When the government needs vehicles that can idle for 8 hours in a parking lot, tow heavy equipment across state lines, and still start reliably in winter, they don't buy crossovers. They buy these. The GMT 800 generation Tahoe and Yukon were the backbone of law enforcement fleets, government motor pools, and military installations across North America for over a decade. That's not a marketing angle, that's documented purchase history. The reason is straightforward. The 5.3L Vortec V8, engine code LM7, is an iron block V8 that is dramatically over-engineered for what most people ask it to do. It was designed to tow, haul, and idle without complaint. Under normal civilian use, daily driving, occasional towing, highway miles, this engine barely breaks a sweat. IC Cars frequently includes the Tahoe in their rankings of vehicles most likely to hit 250,000 miles. That's not an accident. The 5.3 Vortec routinely reaches 300,000 miles with oil changes and basic maintenance. No exotic repairs, no rare parts, no waiting weeks for components. Walk into any auto parts store in any city in America, and the parts are on the shelf. RepairPal data shows the Tahoe has below-average ownership costs for full-size SUVs, specifically because of parts availability. When something does need attention, you're not paying dealer markup on specialty components. You're paying normal prices at a normal shop for parts that every mechanic already knows how to install. Here's what you need to be honest about before buying one of these. The interiors on 2000 to 2006 models are going to show their age. Leather seats will be cracked, door panels rattle, and the gauge cluster stepper motors, the tiny motors that control your speedometer needle, are known to fail. Your speedometer might stop working accurately. This sounds alarming, but it's one of the most documented, cheapest fixes in the GMT 800 world. Replacement stepper motors cost almost nothing. YouTube has full tutorials. It's a Saturday afternoon repair, not a shop job. The mechanical bones of these trucks are essentially indestructible. The exterior and interior are just old. You're not buying it for the looks. You're buying it because the engine and drivetrain were engineered to government fleet standards, meaning they were expected to keep running with minimal downtime. That's exactly what they do. Pricing right now is one of the best parts of this story. A well-maintained single or two-owner example with 130,000 to 180,000 miles sits between $5,000 and $9,000. There were millions of these produced, so the supply is still healthy. You're not hunting for a rare find. You're choosing from a large pool, which means you can afford to be selective. Take your time, find one with service records, and you're buying something that was designed from the factory to outlast almost everything else on this list. One important note, the 2007 model year brought active fuel management, which is cylinder deactivation technology that created oil consumption problems and lifter failures in later engines. Mechanics consistently call the pre-2007 Iron Block 5.3 the peak of GM reliability for this engine family. Stay in the 2000 to 2006 range, and you completely sidestep that entire issue. SUV number 1, the gold standard. 1996 to 2002, Toyota 4Runner, third generation. When mechanics, people who spend their careers watching engines fail, are asked which used SUV they'd put their own family in, this generation comes up constantly. The third-gen 4Runner doesn't get mentioned because it's trendy. It gets mentioned because the engineering behind it is genuinely difficult to argue with. This 4Runner shares its mechanical DNA with the Toyota Hilux, a truck that became globally famous for surviving conditions that destroyed everything else around it. The Hilux was tested in conflict zones, remote deserts, and Arctic environments because militaries and relief organizations needed something that would not quit. The 4Runner that came from that same design philosophy carries that reputation into a format that's practical for daily use. The engine is a 3.4L V6, code 5VZ-FE. It's a non-interference cast iron block, which means if the timing belt breaks, which it will eventually if you ignore it, the engine doesn't self-destruct. Pistons don't collide with valves. You replace the timing belt, set the timing, and drive away. Mechanics consider this one of the most forgiving, most durable V6 engines ever put into a production vehicle. 300,000 miles on this engine with basic maintenance is common. Not impressive, common. That's the baseline expectation. The body-on-frame construction, combined with Japanese manufacturing standards from that era, created something that simply outlasts its competition. IC Cars includes the 4Runner in their top lists of vehicles, most likely to reach 250,000 miles, and owners of this specific generation regularly report far exceeding that number. Now, two things you must check before buying one of these. Frame rust is the first and most important inspection. If this truck spent its life in the Rust Belt or in states that salt their roads heavily in winter, the frame underneath may be compromised. This is not a small issue. A rusted frame on a body-on-frame truck is a serious structural problem that can make the vehicle unsafe and very expensive to address. Get under it before you hand over money. Bring a flashlight. If you're not comfortable doing this yourself, pay a mechanic $100 for a pre-purchase inspection. It's the most valuable $100 you'll spend. The second issue is the radiator. The factory radiator on these trucks can develop an internal failure where coolant leaks into the transmission fluid. Mechanics call it the pink milkshake problem. It's the same concept as the Xterra's earlier issue, coolant contamination destroying the transmission from inside. The prevention is simple. Replace the radiator around the 100,000-mile mark. It's a straightforward job that costs a few $100s and completely eliminates the risk. If a used example you're looking at still has the original radiator and is over 150,000 miles, budget for that replacement immediately. Pricing for clean third-gen examples right now runs between $6,500 and 120,000 miles. If that mileage number makes you hesitate, remember what this engine is. For the 5VZ-FE, 200,000 miles is not the end. It is genuinely just breaking in. This is one of the very few situations in used car buying where high mileage is not a red flag. It's proof that the engine has already demonstrated its durability. The fourth-generation 4Runner from 2003 to 2009 is also available under $10,000 in some cases, but those examples typically carry very high mileage or are two-wheel drive. The third generation in the $6,520,000 range represents better overall value for buyers who want the full off-road capability and the most proven version of this drivetrain. The buyer's checklist before you sign anything. All three of these trucks reward buyers who do their homework and punish buyers who rush. There are three things that apply across all of them. Pull the history report first. Carfax or auto check. You're looking for accident history, title issues, and whether the maintenance intervals were followed. A truck with 3 owners and clean service records is worth more than a single-owner truck with no documentation. For the Xterra, confirm the model year is 2011 or newer. Non-negotiable, walk away from anything earlier regardless of how clean it looks. For the Tahoe and Yukon, confirm you're buying a pre-2007 model with the iron block 5.3. Check the gauge cluster function during your test drive. For the 4Runner, get under the frame and ask when the radiator was last replaced. If the seller doesn't know, budget for it immediately. Professional detailing on any of these trucks runs about $150 to $200 and completely transforms how they present. A clean, detailed truck commands better resale value and gives you a better read on the actual condition of the paint and interior. These 3 SUVs were built for people who needed them to work. Not look impressive, not impress neighbors. Work. That engineering DNA doesn't disappear just because the trucks are now 10 to 20 years old. It's still in there, and under $10,000. Nothing else on the used market touches this combination of proven durability and real-world value. Which one would you actually put in your driveway? Drop it in the comments. Every answer gets read. And if this breakdown helped you cut through the noise on used SUVs, subscribe to Liyan Auto. There are 2 more videos on reliable used vehicles sitting on this channel right now, both worth your time. They're on screen. Pick either one and I'll see you there.